All right, hey guys, here we are back for another guide here. I'm going to go quarterback. I'm going to try another. I did get the hole-in-one with a turkey ball, so if you haven't seen that, but I'm going to do something a little bit different, just in case other guys have different balls. Might not have turkey balls, so I'm just going to use a Win 4 ball, and we'll try to do a very similar approach, and just see how this works out. So let me get the quarterback on. I believe I used plus 20% earlier to get the hole-in-one. So I'm going to use very similar. What I remember from the adjustment. Now, here's the problem when you start bringing into account like Win 4 balls, for instance. The wind gets up a little bit higher and you have to go more rings, which means you have to go more through that tree. It's going to make the adjustment a little bit tougher. So with that in mind, Win 5 is going to be your best option. And something to also consider, as the wind gets a little bit larger, you might have to increase this overplay a little bit. So I might use the max number, and depending on how high it is, if it's double digits, I might go, say, plus 25%, for instance. Oh, geez. It's not my connection, okay? You can say it is all you want, but it's your fault. And this is, part of the problem that I have with their matching algorithm, because you go through a minute of that, and then I have to re-up again. Or it'll say, no opponents found. And it's like, oh, so I have to search 2 minutes now for a game instead of 1. And I time recorded it last tournament, and the time that I waited was 70 seconds. That's just too long. I shouldn't have to wait 70 seconds for a match. And, this video is kind of proof. You can blame my connection all you want, Playdemic, but it was not me that caused that instability for you to match me. All you have to do is give me a replay after, say, 20 seconds, and I'll be a lot happier with the way that you handled these matchmaking if you can do that. There's no reason to make it spin like this just for me to get a replay. Like 20 seconds is plenty long enough to just say, you know what, just play a previous version of this hole. So, have to wait 2-3 times longer for a game. And, towards the weekend round, I played one round, and it was the middle of the day on Saturday, where I should have been able to easily match anybody, and I might have matched 3 people out of 18 holes. It just spun like that. So it added on, and a couple times it actually came up and said, no opponent found. So I had to go through it again a second time, and that's just too much to have to wait through that not only once, but twice. So let's take a look at this shot now. Let me see what the wind is. If it's double digits, I might up this. Single digits, so I'll be happy with keeping it here. You're at about 1.5 on the spin, more or less. You can see kind of where I'm landing with the second and third bounce. Kind of through the hole here. And here's 4 rings. We're going to go 9 here. It's very, very hard to be precise. I think that's 11. Guess we'll find out, won't we? It's not, because there you can see the second bounce hits the rough, and my ball guide was definitely over. So you can see that shot is going to be very challenging. It's almost like For the first adjustment, you might need to stay on this side of the tree, and then you might have to spin it around to the other side for the next adjustment. So I'm going to continue to play around with that and take a look as to what I'm going to need to do to kind of play that consistently, because that's just a nightmare to try to do that right there. So let's just go ahead, we'll pop this in real quick. I'm going to play a couple shootouts just to get a feel for these holes. I'm still not comfortable with them whatsoever. We didn't even get to practice this, so there was no Tour 11, Tour 12 matching for this course. So I'd like to at least, get a couple win perspectives, just so I can start to get an understanding of what it's going to take on these holes. For this hole specifically, with this wind, I would probably choose to land right around here with some spin. Kind of play this backstop here. Typically, I'd probably use my max number. I might go max plus 10 in this situation. So I'm kind of thinking at least 10, 11 rings. So I'm going to pull up here about 11. And it's going to require, a substantial amount of curl. You could see that my ball guide was still well out towards the side. So let's see what I can do. Oh, are you serious? I cannot believe it stays up on this slope. So I thought I just hit what was probably a pretty good shot there, and is very disappointing results there. I should have been down there very, very close, which would have almost assured me the win on this hole. And now I have to basically duke it out. It's probably going to come down to a quarter yard or something. You would think that your opponent, especially, going into max club here, it's going to be probably a hard shot to get on the right surface, on the right level where I am. So it'll probably fall down. Let's see if it does. And when it does fall down to the next level, it's usually right around 5 yards. So as I mentioned, not in this case, that was too much slope. So here it actually came down to 7 yards. So when it just kind of gracefully rolls down, it would have put us very, very close. 4 to 5 yards. Most times both players will be right around that 5 yard number. So that's typically what you can expect for rolling down that hill, but you don't want to roll down the hill with quite that much momentum. But good luck with that second hole. Do check out my other guide for that one. I did get the hole-in-one with the other ball. The hardest thing about that is going to be the adjustment, but being able to keep your adjustment within one bullseye is going to make it that much easier to be able to get that ace. So good luck, and see you guys on the next one.